I'm delighted to say we've got John Hartson with us to reflect on the career of Gareth Southgate. John, it's a sad moment, really, of Gareth Bale. Sorry, Gareth Bale, of course, not Gareth Southgate. It's a sad moment when it comes to an end like this, but I guess you guys probably were prepared for it, or were you?
I think so. I think, it's one of those with international players. You almost retire yourself. It's not like playing for the club side where you're on a contract and you have to keep going. And he's done everything he's needed to do in the game. And if he feels that he's hit this peak and he's give everything, and he's at a stage now where it is maybe he thinks that he can't hit the heights that he hit sort of a year ago or 2 years ago, then he's decided to call it a day. So it wasn't really a surprise for me. I just feel in the last few games I've seen him, he's not been as dynamic as he previously has been. Talking about the World Cup, he wasn't really that fit in the World Cup, so I wasn't surprised. And to be honest with you, I'm expecting probably another couple of senior players in the Welsh camp to basically follow suit over the next 2 months.
We'll talk about the highs in a moment, but just it seems like over the last couple of years, the injuries really started to have an impact. When you think about his spectacular athletic gifts, it was one of the main attributes that he had was being able to physically protect himself, get away from the opposition, outpace people, outmuscle people. Once that started to diminish, then he just couldn't do the things that he was capable of doing when he was genuinely world class.
Yeah, well, that's the type of player Gareth was. He was very dynamic. He was like a Porsche. He was 1 to 7 in 30 seconds. That's the type of player he was. He could play the ball past a player and then show the defender a clean pair of heels. His game was all about pace, setting off, leaving the defender standing. Technically, you never really lose that technical ability. He scored 2 goals against Austria, and then he got the winning goal, helped by a deflection from Yarmolenko against the Ukraine to get Wales through to the World Cup. He's had an extraordinary career, and I just think when you lose them assets that you had previously, and that's what got him to the very top of the game, at a world-class level, playing at Real Madrid, probably in the top 4 or 5 players in the world when he was starring for Real Madrid. When he first went there, in the first 2 or 3 seasons he was there. Remember, he was 9 seasons at Real Madrid, scoring over 106 goals for them, winning 5 Champions League winners' medals, Spanish Cups, other sort of cups as well. The boys had an extraordinary career, and he was such a unique talent. And it's his decision to retire. And as I said, I wish him well.
A very patriotic figure as well, John. We were kind of joking this morning about and it's almost become a meme, the whole Wales Golf Madrid flag that used to come out. But really, really always did put Wales first, and that's probably what I guess made Wales fans love him all the more.
Yeah, well, he's iconic. He's right up there. He's right up there amongst the greats. The issue with that flag was, I can explain that flag, when they qualified for the World Cup, that flag, the boys were going around the pitch, Cardiff City Stadium, and that flag was handed to one of the players, and then basically the lads were posing with the flag, and Gareth just happened to jump in the photo. It wasn't particularly planned or nothing like that. That just came off a fan. So basically, I know Gareth got a lot of stick for that. But he was always there. He always turned up, yourself. You follow the Republic of Ireland and, other nations and everything else. He always turned up, friendly matches. And he made such a huge difference. He was Wales' go-to man. He was their talisman. And... I would arguably go to say that if Gareth Bale, wasn't within our ranks, the Welsh ranks, we might not have had the success that we've had in the last 6 or 7 years, reaching 3 major tournaments. He's been that good and that important for the other younger players that have come through to see Gareth Bale. He's such a humble man as well. He doesn't turn up with a big entourage and 6 or 7 of his mates around him, and he doesn't give it the big I am. He's Gareth Bale. He's a proud Welshman, and every time he's gone out on that pitch for Wales, he's exceeded all expectation of him. Obviously, in the World Cup, it was the lads were a bit under par. I think the whole proudness and the whole achievement of reaching a World Cup for the first time in 64 years was probably what Wales, that was what that was the expectations. And I think slightly they took their eye off the ball on the football pitch. They were well below par with their performances. But I think the achievement actually got to a lot of the players, and they were just happy to be there in the end.
John, as a Wales fan, do you remember the first time realising that Gareth Bale was not just going to be another left back or another left winger who would have a good Premier League career, but that he was actually going to be genuinely world class? When did the penny drop for you?
Well, watching him for Spurs, because I was with the national team myself under Chris Coleman for just over a year. I was one of his assistant coaches, so I was able to see Gareth every time we had an international match. And you mentioned it earlier on. His biggest asset, I think, was his pace, and he had wonderful technique. He had a wand of a left foot. He could put the ball, on a sixpence. He could take free kicks. He could hit balls from 30, 40 yards, and he was consistently hitting the target, scoring these unbelievable goals, all these magic moments. But I think when he was at Spurs, when he broke in under Harry Redknapp down that left-hand side, I remember watching him scoring a 20-minute hat-trick, I think it was, or a second-half hat-trick at Inter Milan. Just his performances, his goals. He carried Spurs for the best part of about a year. He was so consistent in his performances and in his goals. And, of course, then that enticed Real Madrid to come in for him with all that money. I think it was it 85, 90 million, close to something like that, which was remarkable. But he's had a wonderful career. He doesn't owe anything to anybody. He reached his goal, which was getting Wales to a World Cup. He's been the best ever player ever to play abroad. His success is so much bigger than what any other player did while they were playing abroad. You look at, I've just alluded to all his trophies and goals there. He's just a unique talent, and he's a really nice lad. He's down to earth, and I don't know what he's going to do next. There's rumours he might join the Live Golf sort of company because he loves his golf. So I don't know, but as I said, he'll be able to do whatever he wants to do. He's earned the right.
When you were at training as a coach, was he doing stuff in training that you were thinking, Jesus, this is incredible? Or was it like kind of by that stage you knew exactly how good he was going to be?
Yeah, he was. He was doing things that were out of the ordinary. He was hitting free kicks. He's a hard worker in training. He used to stay behind one of the last off the training ground. There'd be him, there'd be Craig Bellamy, there'd be little Robbie Earnshaw, there'd be Aaron Ramsey, all these guys wanting to get on the free kicks, but there was only one man that was actually going to be taking them on a match day. Some of the things, his pace was just absolutely phenomenal. He could just, honest to God, you had to see it. He's such a special, well-defined sort of specimen, if you like. His body is... he's just a gazelle, he was frightening his pace. He could just get away from people, and then he could deliver. He had a left foot to hit. You look at his goals. Every one of them is almost like a goal of the season contender. He hit so many great goals, and it was a joy to work with him. It was a joy to have to be with him for that sort of 12 months or so. I was within the camp. So he was a fantastic player. As I said, I don't know what he's going to do next, but what it does do as well now, it leaves a little pathway for one or two of the younger players that are coming through with the national team. They'll have to step up now. I know Gareth Bales don't come around too often, probably once in every, I don't know, God knows how many years, just to have that special, unique, talent that he has. But you look at Brennan Johnson now and Dan James and Connor Roberts, Nico Williams, Joe Rodon. These are the ones, the Harry Wilsons. These are the ones now that have to carry that mantle through. And obviously with Robert Page, he's been given the job. The European Championship qualifiers, the Euros start in March. So they have to go again without their talisman. But as I said, I'm half expecting one or two others of the senior players to follow suit. I think a lot of them, three or four of them up in their 80, 90 caps.
Yeah.
And I think another campaign might be a bit too much for some of them. The ones especially who are not playing regular for their club sides.
Yeah, 100%. John, great to have you with us. Thanks a million for sharing that with us. Cheers.
Thank you. All the best.
It's John Hartson there giving us some thoughts on the retirement of Gareth Bale.